You're listening to Conversations with ClubRight, the podcast where we delve into what it's like owning a business in the fitness industry and offer practical insight to help you grow and thrive. It's been a challenging few years for us all, so join us every Tuesday for new episodes where we talk about everything from member retention in the economic climate we're currently in to building a long-term growth strategy for your club, as well as stories of when I ran my gym. So, I'm your host, Wayne Heath. Looking forward to getting into this episode. So, welcome back to episode 9 of Conversation with ClubRight, and we've got a really exciting topic today to talk about: access control. We're going to demystify and answer, I'm sure, many questions people have about access control, whether they got it already or looking to change it or actually looking to get involved with access control. So really want to kind of bring some context into bringing about the questions that people typically think about before embarking on this journey, should we say. And we've got an expert here today, Simon Trobe from Zero IT Solutions. He's going to be answering a number of questions that I'm sure many of you've got. So, Simon, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Oh, hello. I'm Simon from Zero IT Solutions. We provide various door access control solutions. We've been around in this industry for over 26 years, and we help manage and support various integrations within various gyms for various customers at this moment in time. So,
Fantastic. Well, honestly, really pleased that you've managed to find time out of your busy schedule, because I know there's never a dull moment with you. You're always here, there, and everywhere. So, thank you for your time today, Simon. And got a few questions, hopefully not too challenging. So I'm sure they won't be. So with less ado, let's just crack on, I guess. So one of my first questions that commonly gets answered is, what are the biggest security benefits of having an access control? What's the system?
Any access control system provides a security benefit to any business. You can see who's coming in and who's coming out, ultimately. That gives you the ability to show, if you're wanting metrics on footfall, for one's sake, if you're a gym, you want to see how many people are coming in, who's coming in, at what time, when are your busiest times. That will be able to show that within the data that you can gather from the door access control system. Secondly, it provides you with a security solution as well, whereas you don't have an open door policy. You can see if somebody is coming into the gym. Mm-hmm. If you're worried about lots of people coming at the gym at the same time who aren't members, but a member is allowing them to come in as well, that allows you to also see who that member is, allowing those people into the gym at that point, so you can deal with them, in your time, in the way you would be able to deal with them, and address that problem, because ultimately they're stealing from you. And ultimately, and I think it provides you that confidence that you can back up not that confrontation, but that conversation that you have with that member. Say, well, actually, our access control and our CCTV show you allowed these people in. This is you can have those conversations around that. So it provides you with lots and lots of benefit. And also as well, it saves you time and money. If you're opening a 24-hour gym, you can't pay somebody to be there 24/7.
I'm not sure I'd want to be there anyway.
And at the end of the day, it's something which you kind of want it to run itself.
Yes.
And then having something electronic and supported, and having somebody to support that service and with that knowledge, where you as a gym you won't have that knowledge, is key. It's a journey. It's a path that you walk down, and you just need that support to help you get to that place. So, like I said, access control is the way forward. It really is. It has so many benefits. It outweighs any negatives.
Yeah, and that's the thing. One of the things that I think for most gym owners initially, They then start to see other benefits once it's installed. But first and foremost, it's trying to make sure that those that are paid are allowed in, and those that are not paid are denied access. I mean, they're the most probably the first things that is paramount in their minds to start with. And then you start to look at it a bit more about beyond just membership access. There's also the ability to do class access. So someone could buy a class as a one-off session and then gain access to the club easily as well. You know, something like that allows you to grow your business at any time of the day, giving your facilities the ability for people to book, buy a class, turn up, even though they might not be a member just yet, but they've had access to the club, the same as a customer paying a membership. And I think that's quite an important one that I've come across in the past time where, you know, not just members, but you're also able to let non-members or members to be into the club as well, because at that point they want to have the normal experience a member would have.
Yeah.
So I'm
Well,
not sure if you
talking
come
about
across that.
Yeah, I have actually one of our customers
Hmm.
up in the Highlands in Scotland actually
Yeah,
has a community gym.
yeah,
Now, as part of that, they sell 1 day passes or 7 day passes
of
to
course.
holiday makers, basically staying in the local area
Oh,
where they
okay.
can come and use the gym. So that then sets them up on ClubRight.
Hmm.
They purchase it through ClubRight. That then sets it up on automatically on the
Mm,
door access control system. They validate their how long when it's going to be used for, and they come along, press their code in, their 6-digit PIN code, and allows them in the gym. They don't have to have an interaction with somebody.
yeah,
It's all of the work is done around that. The introduction to the gym as well is
yeah.
within the ClubRight system. It's all fully managed, which is absolutely fantastic.
And I think it's the kind of, if you're looking at it, you know, you don't just limit once you install access control. That explanation is brilliant, Simon, because what you've actually managed to do is not exclude your potential to grow your business. It's
Exactly.
then just doesn't work with existing members. It can work with people that are looking to join and potentially become a member after they've had that experience. So I think that's perfect. And
And also, it brings a benefit as well if you've got cleaners coming in and so forth as well.
yeah,
Using a packaging system, for sake, you can have separate users on there who can come in at any time of the day to clean. You
that's a
can
good
see
point.
what people are doing. Again, within a community environment, it works very well. You've got multiple people that are coming in to fix things and keep the upkeep for the gym. But again, with your PTs and your staff members as
Yeah,
well.
yeah,
You can see when they're coming in and out of the gym.
that's a really
If
good one.
you're,
I like that.
so
Yeah,
you've got that ability to have all of that knowledge. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is
yeah.
key to any business. And for it to succeed, you need as much knowledge and data as you can get.
It's like, did I turn up on shift on time, right?
Yeah, exactly. But it's like so when you're using Facebook and things like that, and everything you do in Facebook is data, and
Yeah.
they mine all of that data from you. So again, this is the same thing. Using a door access control gives you that data, that power, that
Mm,
control, and that's what's key to making sure that you can develop the business further.
exactly. Well, I think that's kind of really going over the benefits, and it's actually already it's a little bit more than most people would think of straight away. So the next really interesting question would be, if a gym owner decides they want to install access control, what are the things they need to start considering before proceeding and going ahead?
Um, what their budget is for a start.
Good point.
Access control it's for some gym owners it's not cheap. It
Hmm.
depends on the level of service that somebody wants.
Hmm.
We start off a door access control system with a Paxton install
Hmm.
for to start off at £2,300 plus VAT.
Right.
That is a fully managed service. That is the door access control system installed. That is the server installed. That is support for a year.
Well,
So that they've got that level of support between 8 in the morning and 6 at night. If there's something going wrong or not working, they just get on the phone and ring. It's also a fully managed support service as well. So we would put monitoring on there as well. So
hmm
we would know hopefully before the client that if the Paxton system's gone down, if the if the welcome screen has gone down, which is key
Yeah.
for the integration to make sure that when somebody's set up on the in the ClubRight system, that the information is also within the Paxton system as well to make it work. And also the welcome screen is key for getting that information back from the Paxton system back into ClubRight to show, again, for the metrics on who's in the gym, how many people have come in the gym at what time. So again, it's that data driven part of the system as well. So we manage all of that for the clients as part of the installation and so forth.
Cool.
What we require is simply just some photographs of the door that they wanted installed on, whether that be inside or outside. We can then consider what is needed at that point, because ultimately, as a gym owner, we wouldn't expect anybody who is a gym owner to understand how it's going to be installed, but also the requirements for that install. So we prefer, it's easier for us to manage that for the gym owner, and take that off their hands, so they can just feel confident. They've paid some money. They've got a company who is going to do it professionally and responsibly, and it is going to be done within the timely fashion, which is an agreed timescale with the customer as well. So again, it's bringing that into a package box of, you don't have to worry. It's not something that they probably want to worry about. But if it was something they were considering, they need to consider power.
Yeah.
Where is power? Because you need power for the controller.
Absolutely.
Where is the controller going to be seated? It needs to be close to the door. What type of door does somebody have? Is it a wooden door? Is it a plastic PVC?
Or is it a glazed
door? Is it a glazed door? Because that then changes how you install things, because we can fit directly onto a full glass door, but we have to buy a specific mount for that door to mount the mag lock and everything onto there. You need network connection to the controller as well. So where is your router? Where is your connectivity?
Really good question.
Really good answer. Wireless, so it needs to be fully wired in. Again, this is where our installers come in, and we manage everything. So we would install the network connectivity for that. We would install the power for that. We would manage all of that around what is required for that installation. So that means you're not trying to bring an electrician to deal with something, and then bringing a security person to come into something. You're then ringing ClubRight and saying, right, I've got this, but I'm not too sure how it integrates, because most companies, unfortunately, don't understand the technical aspect of how the back end of Paxton works and how the integration side works. That's where we specialize in. And it's that conversation around, does the gym owner want the bother of dealing with all of that and bringing in multiple people to do certain things? Probably not.
It's a juggling act, isn't it? And I think that's an interesting point, because one of the questions we get answered a lot, and it's not sure what your thoughts on it are. So a gym who's never been 24-hour before suddenly wants to go 24-hour. Okay. So we then think about, how now do I, as Wayne, the gym owner, how do I now make my reception and other places or areas within the business secure? What's your thoughts on that? Because that's a big consideration for a lot of clubs.
Yeah, it's again, this is where you need to plan and look at the architectural side of things. Where have you got a wall? Have you got a door? You've got a reception area with a computer on. Those sort of things. You may want to have, that is their working hours, but you might put a separate door at the side of the building. And convert a fire door into a door access control as well. That can be done. And allow users after, say, 9 o'clock at night to come in through a separate door. This is where you also need sort of monitoring systems as well. So you use there's various solutions for CCTV monitoring. You would use CCTV to monitor who's in the gym at any one time. Again, there's a liability as well. If somebody's in by themselves and they're using heavy weights and so forth, and there was an accident to happen, it's the responsibility of the person using the equipment to be to do it in a responsible manner. So there's various things around that as well. So it's that consideration. But it's what I would say is, take advice. If somebody was going to deal with that, come and speak to experts 100%. Around it. So speak to ClubRight, who can then say, right, well, this is what other clubs are doing at the moment. And pass you on,
and even down to having a a shutter at reception. You know, might have pulled down metal shutter to
Exactly. But
literally
again,
secure all your protein stuff when your place
exactly.
is like after hours, and then that shutter goes back up again. I mean, I've seen a number of clubs do that kind of situation, and it is a consideration because it's almost like you're letting someone into your home who's got access to all manner of different stuff that you may or may not want them to have access to, because I actually think that's quite a big consideration. And sometimes people, like you said, having a separate door after certain hours could be a great way of solving that problem. So, yeah, that's really cool. So, on to another question. This is always an interesting one. And I've got some fairly fixed ideas myself, especially post COVID, of course. Biometric entry systems. Is it a yes or a no? What do you think?
It all depends on the environment, but ultimately, as ClubRight is normally has a lot of smaller gyms, small gym owners. It becomes down to cost quite a lot of times.
Yeah,
But ultimately, biometrics is not I find not a solution which is constant.
it's not
Um, you
reliable, is
know,
it?
it's not reliable,
No.
and if things change, if people's appearance change, it can throw biometrics off
Yeah.
quite quickly. So it's not like biometrics on an Apple iPhone where you put some glasses on and it works fine. Biometrics is very different when it comes to door access control,
Mm,
and it's very set. Whereas we would always say, you know, a PIN code or a QR code.
yeah,
Now, QR is very good, very simple. The club with the QR code, again, scan the QR code, you're in the
exactly.
door. Like I said, I talk about packaging quite a lot. You can't change the QR codes on the
Yeah,
Nortec system, so it's rolling. Um, but again, each system has its benefits
yeah,
and negatives as
of
well as
course.
such. But ultimately, I find most customers require, because of the level of access as well with the staff as well,
Yeah,
the Paxton system works very well.
yeah.
Some people want QR codes. I think it's something which is, oh, we can do QR.
And it doesn't cost
Um,
anything. It's on the app. It's
it
easy.
does exactly. It doesn't cost anything. It's something which is built into the system,
Yeah,
so you don't need to worry about that. But again, the PIN code is, again,
yeah.
it's the same price to whether to install a PIN code system is to a QR
There
code
you are. It's
system.
just a
At the end of
choice
the day,
then, isn't it?
for us to do an installation, it's the same.
Right.
But I find that, if you've got some older clientele, remembering a six-digit number is very easier for them to do that. So yeah, it's easier to do
Yeah, of
that sort of
course.
thing for customers.
Yeah,
If you've got a younger clientele, they may want the QR code.
yeah.
Um,
But you can actually do
but
both if you wanted to.
yes, you can do both. So there is that ability to deal with that. But if you're going to do both, if you're going to have a QR reader, you also need a PIN code reader as
Yep.
well, which then increases the cost slightly for
Yeah.
yourself. So, again, it's you kind of, as a business, you need to decide on what you want as a
Of
business,
course.
how you feel what's the best solution for
Yeah.
your clientele.
No, I agree.
Um, and then off you go from there. Really, a PIN code reader should last. I can say for sure will last a lot longer in the long run than a QR reader.
Yeah.
Ultimately, with the electronics and so
Yeah.
forth in it.
That's some good
QR is quite
advice there.
QR is quite new to the door access control environment. But again, it's something which, if you want something, the longevity of a system, PIN code is the way forward. If
Yeah.
you're happy that you are going to get, say, 5 years out of a QR scanner and it's
Hmm.
going to have to be replaced, you
Yeah.
don't want any downtime.
Exactly.
So,
But that's no different to replacing a treadmill every 3 to 5 years, and maintaining
exactly.
maintaining the hardware that allows your customers to use your facilities. And I think
Exactly. But
with biometrics, it's kind of, I've always had, the issues have always been inconsistent reads, which then reflects on, well, why couldn't that person not come in? Well, actually, through no one's real fault at all. It's just the fact of the pure nature of biometrics. is of that nature. So you get a lot of inconsistent reads, which is exactly what you've just mentioned brilliantly. But then the other side of it is post-COVID. People just generally don't want to be touching things as much as they might have done in the past or felt confident about touching in the past. And something like a fingerprint reader is a very small device that God knows how many thousands of people have put their finger on throughout the course of a few months. And you sit there thinking, nah, don't want to be touching that. It's one of those things that
Definitely.
people are really concerned about.
But also, I think people don't realise the admin time it takes to set somebody up on
Didn't think of that.
a biometric system, because they're not just automatically set up. I don't have a copy of your fingerprint.
Yeah,
How am I supposed to set that up on the door access control? So they actually have to go to reception, have to stand with somebody who's then going to take a copy of 2 or 3 fingers and then enroll them in. So
genius.
that's
I forgot
10,
that one.
15 minutes of somebody's admin time, which
Yeah,
could be better doing something else, which is going to make the business more money rather than setting somebody up.
totally.
Automate it. Automation is the best way. It's making people money for doing absolutely nothing.
You know what? I'm so glad you mentioned that because I'd actually momentarily forgotten that genius piece there, Simon. So that's why you're here, right? I mean, the sheer fact that someone can join online 24/7, get their PIN number, get their QR code, and walk in 5 minutes later
Exactly.
is another
Pay the money.
great reason. Most
Pay the
probably
money.
the biggest one out of the lot.
Yep, exactly. With the way the welcome screen works, and with Paxton generally works. I keep saying Paxton, but that's tended to be my background
Yeah, no,
from this
absolutely.
environment. Within 5 minutes of somebody registering on the system, having paid the membership for the year or for the month, sorry, and also setting
Yeah,
the direct debit up, having their account registered, they're within the Paxton system. They can just put their code in and they're straight through the door.
exactly right.
And then they can, and at that point, again, this is where the holiday type solution works for um, out of the way gyms, that community gym. Like I said, they don't have to interact with those people. Somebody wants to go on holiday, but still wants to carry on with their fitness regime
Yeah.
in a gym. Brilliant. We'll pay for a 7-day pass, and then they set up automatically.
Something else that just suddenly occurred to me as you were talking about payments is that if you're using the QR code and using the app where people are familiar to be using ClubRight, should we say, and their access, when someone's payment fails, that would obviously deny them access through the turnstile or the door. However, if they have the ability, which I know it's a bit of a punt and obviously a promo, but very easily someone can update a missed payment in their app, and less than 5 minutes later, they then got access to the club. So it's putting yet again the admin power back into the member to allow themselves to come in once their payment's been done, and you, as a gym owner, haven't had to get involved.
Yeah. And also as well, some people would be quite embarrassed if they've missed a direct debit payment.
Mm.
So actually updating their payment in the app, and then it having automated, an update, totally automated, then means they don't actually have to interact with anybody to sort that out.
That's
It means
a good
that they don't
point,
have
the
to have the
embarrassment of that.
embarrassing. Yeah, some people are quite embarrassed about, I've missed a payment, or it's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they don't want to have that awkward interaction. I didn't redirect debit failed and that sort of thing. Okay, let's set it up on the app. Let's sort it out in the app. It's done. You can sit in the car and sort it out, make the payment, and then give it 5 minutes. Your account's back active again. You walk to the door, put your PIN code in. It's like, yes.
And nobody knows anymore.
Nobody has to know.
Love that. Well, on to our next question, because we've kind of gone through the positives and negatives of biometrics, and it seems to be more of a negative than a positive, that's for sure. Traditionally ran gyms give members with access cards and swipe entry. What's your take on that? I mean, we kind of almost touched on it a bit already, but access cards, swipe to entry, what's your thoughts?
It's a cost that gyms don't need to go to. People lose cards, people lose tokens all the time. How often, young people, how often do they lose bank cards? They're out on a night out and they lose a bank card, they lose the wallet.
Yeah.
Excuse me. They misplace something that could have their card in it. That means their gym membership card's gone.
Yeah.
There's a cost of these, so you may be paying 50p a card.
Yeah.
You're then also paying for printing on that card as well if you're going to do that. So that's going to cost you another 50p to £1 to get that done. So, it's an extra cost you don't need to go to. If you've got 500 members, you're at nearly £1,000 in cards.
Yeah.
And then if they lose them, you're potentially going to have that cost every year.
Yeah.
to keep replacing these, and you get to a point, do you then charge them £10 as a fee to say I'm
And
going
I've
to
seen
go?
that before.
But again, it's the admin time as well to the
Yeah.
card. So somebody's got to physically update that code. If they've lost it, it's got to be removed from the system. It's got to
Yeah.
be changed. So if you use the QR or you use the PIN code, none of that needs to happen. One, they cannot lose it. They
Hmm.
can not remember it, but then go back on the app and
Yeah,
find
absolutely.
the code out. Secondly, they're going to open the app anyways to use the QR code. They're in the door. Again, it's the admin time on top of it as well. You don't need to bother with handing a card out to somebody, writing
Yeah.
somebody's name on it. It's just, I find, in the environment for gyms, cards, tokens, they're a waste of time. They're just,
Yeah, I don't disagree.
it's a cost that a gym owner doesn't need to go to.
It's an added expense. It's something for
Exactly.
people to remember to bring with them. And most people have got their phone, and if they
Yeah.
haven't got their phone, they hopefully can remember their PIN number.
Cost of living at the moment as well. As a gym, a gym member, they may not want to give £10 over as a deposit on a card.
That's a good point.
And so they might, their expenses. They're saying £30 a month for the gym. I feel that's enough. I don't really want to be paying an extra £10,
Yeah,
not per month, but to add that, and that's sort of like a credit which is sitting there. And again, it's something which is, they may not have that. They may have that £30, but not that extra bit, that extra £10 because they've not balanced for that.
of
So
course.
again, it's not putting that extra financial pressure on somebody, and it also doesn't give a negative approach to somebody accessing that
Yeah,
environment as well. Um, you know, Again, you can automate the whole system. Somebody can sign up from outside the gym, they can pay the money, and they can come into the gym
yeah,
through
yeah.
the access control. If it was a card system, they can pay, but they'd have to come in within office hours and then get set up.
It'd be
And then
back to
as
the
long as somebody was
fingerprint
there,
again, isn't it?
back
Allocate
to
the
the
card,
fingerprint.
and
Exactly,
it
exactly.
just becomes really hard work. And as I say, back in the day, I mean, I remember in the early days, it was mag stripe cards.
Yep.
They are just so last year now. I can't remember. We are so used to now not even using our debit cards and credit cards. It's all on Apple Pay or Google Pay, right? So the sheer fact that we've moved away from this bit of plastic makes sense that you're not trying to go out and use them for access control as well. So really good point. And I totally agree with your point on that one. Waste of money, save yourself a few quid and your customer.
Exactly. You're saving the customer money, but you're saving the business money as well. And in doing so, it's more profit into the business. At the end of the day, it's the
100%.
business. It has to make money. And why waste money on doing cards when you don't have to?
Yeah. And I think throughout a lot of our conversations so far, you have quite rightly pointed out, why waste money? I think that's a really good point. Because it's very easy to waste money in a business. And those expenses can quite easily escalate away from you. And I think that's a really good learning point already for some of the questions we've gone through, from, designing the idea of access control, what's needed, what's your budget, and then the ongoing cost of it all, and going down a road that's the most economic, easy to run, fully serviced system that makes it easy for you all round. And I think that kind of leads us into CCTV, because starting to really become a big must-have, irrespective of the size of your business, whether it be smaller or large, it's irrelevant. But knowing from a health and safety point of view for your members who's in and who shouldn't be getting in, and then maybe, dare I say it, who's trying to get in that shouldn't be getting in at all. CCTV, what's your thoughts about having a good system for that? How would that be from your point of view?
CCTV, you get what you pay for. It's as
Yeah,
simple as that. You can have a cheap one system, which you buy from Costco, and fit it yourself.
yeah,
That is a CCTV system, but it will serve a purpose, I'm
yeah.
afraid. But if you want the benefit of protecting your business,
Hmm.
protecting yourself, remember there's a liability of people using the gym as well. There's a liability question around accidents.
Yeah,
If you can prove, if you can show on CCTV that if somebody did hurt themselves and they do try and sue you for liability,
yeah,
then you have physical evidence there.
Of course.
As long as you, as an organisation, demonstrate that one CCTV is recording via signs.
Yes.
This is part of your policy.
That's
You
really
have
important, that one. Well, I'm
policy
glad you mentioned that.
that you're GDPR compliant. So you would only save the recordings for the required amount of time. Normally 30 days, 30 to
Right.
60 days is more than enough. Plus also that you're registered with the Information Commissioner as well.
Of course.
Because you're ultimately recording a public environment,
Mm-hmm.
that you and that you're storing that information, you need to register with them. In most cases, that's free of charge to do that. It has to be done every year. You have to renew
Yeah.
your membership, your registration,
And it's easy
um,
to do.
and it's very, very easy to do. But it's something which you should do
Mm-hmm.
to be compliant. Again, it provides you with that reassurance. One, again, tying it in with your door access
Yeah.
control system, you can see who's coming in and out of the door.
Yeah.
You can see in a larger environment to see the gym environment. You can see the weight area,
Of
for
course.
instance sake. If somebody has an accident, if somebody's being silly,
Mm-hmm.
you can show that to so you can put it on a display so
Yeah.
people can see that you've got cameras up and that
Of
you're
course.
all recording. You can use that for your reception and your staff members to see what's happening around the gym.
Yeah.
So if you have a large environment, they're not having to walk around to make sure everybody's okay. They
Good
can
point.
see clearly on the screen what is happening as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a 24-hour gym, again, some of the monitoring stations would use that CCTV footage to monitor who's in and out of the gym.
Yeah.
So that will be compliant with your insurance. All of these things come into what the benefits are of having a
Of course.
CCTV system. But again, having the right installer, having the right advice
Mm-hmm.
is key to having these systems
Yeah.
put in as well. If you put a CCTV system in, getting that information and getting that advice and that in to make sure that you are compliant means that you
Yeah.
don't get fines, you don't get somebody if that evidence that is collected via CCTV has to be used in a court case or whichever, then if you're not compliant, it then becomes not usable.
Yeah.
So
No, exactly.
there's a big key to make
That's a
sure
real
that
top
you,
tip, that one.
protect yourself as a business. You've got to make sure that you're not going to enter into something which is going to damage your
Yeah.
personal finances as well.
And the
As
business's
a
reputation.
business's reputation, exactly. You need to make sure that you're protected, that
Yeah.
you're covered. And again, that provides you with that. But like I said, it is very much key. You get what you pay for with CCTV. A Swan system may be £350 for 2 cameras. But again, how long is that going to last for? How's it
Yeah.
accessed? How is the control access? So, how
Yeah.
is that all managed? And a lot of them, the monitoring stations won't accept something like
No.
a Swan system to manage. They require a professionally installed CCTV system.
And it's like anything you buy, isn't it? If you've got the right kit, it will do the right job, and you are protecting the interests of your business. And one of the things I'm particularly passionate about, when someone's got CCTV fitted, one of the whizzy features we have available is that if someone's having difficulty getting into their club, and you can see outside that someone's having problems, but you want to let them in, you can actually press a button within our system to open up that door wherever you are in the world.
100%.
And without that CCTV, you actually wouldn't be able to help that frustrated customer outside the door that may have a problem with their phone that day, which is why the QR code didn't work, or any number of different reasons. They may have not paid, but you've decided to take the high road on that one. Let them in for that time and catch up with them later. But it gives you the ability to take the anger out of that customer situation behind not being able to get in for what could be a very innocuous reason, to be fair.
Yeah, it takes a negative and makes it into a positive. But
absolutely.
also, again, with the camera installed, you can have microphones and speakers as part of on the cameras as well. So you can actually talk to the person and say, we see I'm having some problems. Are you a customer? They can say, oh yeah, my name is Joe Blogs. Yes, I am a customer. And you can quickly check and go, yep, no problem. I'll open the door for you. Click, doors open.
Yeah.
but also as well, I think people, when they're installing these systems, whether it be door access or CCTV or something, it's an asset to a business.
It
And
is.
people need to realize that as well. It's not, I know it's an expenditure that you have in the first instance, but it's a long-term asset of the business.
Yeah.
Because it's providing you with protection. It's providing you with the ability to save money as well.
Yeah.
Plus also having the CCTV inside the gym environment means you can identify when somebody's struggling with a piece of equipment, for instance, and one of the PTs can go and say, "Can I help you with that?"
Yeah.
So you've got that ability as well. If I've said about somebody hurting themselves and so forth, but I personally I have a customer of mine who's a gym, boxing gym.
Right.
We installed a CCTV system for them, done all the GDPR compliance and so forth. But one of the things we used is around the boxing the boxing ring. We put 4 cameras up around the boxing gym.
Okay.
The boxing ring.
Now streamed on Sky TV? No, I'm joking.
No, so what it was so that it meant that it's always recording. So when they were doing, so one of the boxers is semi-pro.
Oh, okay.
And when they were doing the work or the training, they would record the training and they could go back and look at it. So when he was saying about certain moves he was making or what he
So when they're
wasn't doing
sparring,
properly,
they can see what they're doing.
exactly. So you can go back on the iPad or the tablet and say, right, well, you actually were stepping wrong there. You were, you went to jab there, but actually you should have done that because you weren't watching what the other person was doing.
Never go that at all.
Yeah, so it becomes a training tool as well.
I was about to say the word training.
So there's lots of things which can have the ability to benefit the gym as well. So it's not just there. You can use it not just for security, but also for the ability to help people to develop.
I absolutely love that, Simon, because you come at it from an angle that I'd never actually really given a thought to. It's always been about security and stopping people, but actually this really becomes a major benefit to help customers in a way that the customer probably hadn't thought about. And that boxing example, genius. Absolutely love that.
Also, as well, the gym have younger members as well into the boxing gym where they're getting trained and so forth. Now, the parents might want to stay. They may want to watch. Now, we've actually installed a TV, and you can actually see 3 or 4 of the cameras on the TV outside in a parent environment out of the way, so that they could actually watch what's happening with the kids. They can see what's happening.
Nice.
They can see how them sparring. They can see what the environment that it's in. So it means that the kids aren't getting distracted by the parents being there.
That's always the problem, isn't it? Definitely. Don't have mum and dad there.
Exactly, but also mum and dad can stand and watch and actually see what's happening and feel confident in what the child's doing and so forth as well. But also see the development that they're coming on with as well. So it helps with that environment. It means that you can have that split from the environment that the child or the person's in, and then there's a separate environment for somebody to watch and see what's happening as well in the gym. So
well, do you know what? You've literally come up with so many more ideas beyond what you would typically think CCTV does. So there's some absolute nuggets of genius there, mate. So thank you for that. That's awesome. So we're kind of really getting towards the end of our discussion today. And I know you and I could carry on talking for ages on this subject, but the last thing I want to ask you is multiple site access from a single system, which is something we do at ClubRight. But from your point of view, how do you think it's a good thing to do?
Yeah, definitely. Ultimately, if you've got multiple gyms and you can have a member pay for a membership to all gyms, say you have it in say Birmingham or Bristol or wherever, where you may have 4 dotted around the city.
Yeah.
And for instance, there's one close to your home. You go to that one when you come home or in the morning. Then you're at work, lunchtime. I'm going to nip the gym for half an hour now and get in some cardio. You'd go to the gym, you do your workout, you're back to work, and then so you can have multiple access, so they can go to a different site. Or they may be visiting. You may have multiple sites up and down the country.
Of course.
If you visit in an area, I'd like to go and I'm staying overnight in Carlisle, for instance sake.
course.
There's one of the gyms there that are part of the group that I'm a member of. I'll go and jump into there. I'll speak to them first. Can I jump into there? Well, actually, it's part of your membership. Just jump in, and you're already set up on the system. In the go, just as if they would in their club in Bristol or wherever. They can go into the one in Carlisle or the one in Newcastle or Glasgow or Edinburgh or wherever the gyms are. So it brings that larger environment to them, and that
it
benefit
does
as well.
And it is a really good profit opportunity because, if you've got 4 gyms in your group and you buy a membership in Club A, for example, but you happen to be going to, like you said, you're in a different part of the country at that time, want to access Club D, Club A can sell a membership for more money to give them access to Club D. Things like that become really easy money spinners. Typically, to a point, it's a little bit like people buying a facility that they don't often use, but they're still paying for it. So in a way, I'm going to go, I'd love to have access to all 4 clubs, but I've actually managed to use one of those other 4 clubs, my common one I go to, once in 6 months. But I've been paying an extra 10 quid a month, for example, for that privilege, or the ability to do that is a very good way of being able to make more money, just because you're offering more facilities that they could use, but they may or may not use it. And that's when people are paying. It's really people paying for things they don't actually make typically large use of is where you make the money.
Exactly. Customers want convenience. It's like when you want something from a shop.
Yeah.
You go, I always go to Sainsbury's on a Sunday, so I'll go to Sainsbury's now.
Yeah.
Or there's an Asda like 2 minutes walk from where I'm
Yeah,
at.
that's where I go.
Convenience.
Asda, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you'll walk to Asda to go get the because that's what you want at that point.
Of course.
Rather than drive 5 miles to Sainsbury's because you do your shopping on a Sunday there.
Yeah.
It's convenience and so forth. So that gives you that convenience to go to any one of those sites and use those that again you may want to drive out to and try one of the other sites as well. And I quite like this. They've got better music, or they've got better equipment, or it's a bit.
They may do modern. Different classes or something. Could be all of those things, couldn't it?
Exactly, within your time frame as well of when you've got availability. They may do Pilates on a Tuesday at 5 o'clock, and then you've got your PT session on a Wednesday at 7 o'clock. There's that ability, but you can swap between the different gyms to deal with that, or you might follow a PT if one of the PTs is doing all of the gyms at certain times. You may want to have another session because you feel like you need that.
Yeah.
One of the other gyms, right? Well, I can go to that other gym and have that PT session with that, with the PT, and take advantage of the ability you've got that availability. And
it's flexibility for that door access. That if you are trying to sort of keep the right people in and the wrong people out, it gives you a chance to make more money out of the memberships with flexibility ultimately. So I think we've had, well, for those that are listening, and certainly some of the things that you've come up with today, especially that training idea and some of the reasons why, actually far more for CCTV, it's given me loads of different thoughts about that. But ultimately, allowing someone to understand what's required, the thought process for either upgrading their existing service or installing a brand new service, and all the major benefits in the business, the opportunity to make more money, but also to save money, because let's be fair, there's an opportunity to save a lot of money here as well. Has been absolutely insightful. So thank you for that. And I'd like to sort of say, well, give you a chance to say, if someone wants to find more out about what you do, where can they find you?
On the ClubRight website, under door access control systems, you'll find all of our contact details on there. You could email us at hello@zeroitsol.co.uk.
Fantastic.
Again, we work 7 days a week, to be fair. But most of our working hours are 8 till 6, Monday to Friday. And again, it's all about the discussion. It's about a partnership at the end of the day. As a ClubRight customer, we will treat you with exactly at the same respect and professionalism as you get with ClubRight. And also, we are there to advise you. You may not take our services. Our advice is free. Talking to us is free. At the end of the day, it's about developing a relationship and a partnership. At the end of the day, being, if you're taking support services, you want to have that partnership with that company, because at the end of the day, you need to get them on the phone. If there's a problem, right, okay, I'll respond, I'll get it sorted.
Yeah.
If an engineer needs to come out, right, okay, we'll arrange that, we'll have them out, and then there's agreed time, and it's about setting that expectation for everybody, and making sure that expectation is met or exceeded.
Fantastic.
And that's what we try to do.
Well,
again, we don't just specialize in door access, again, CCTV and security services, but also business services, computer support, and generally how to help businesses save money and also be more productive as well. So,
fantastic.
We do a number of technical services around that environment. So there's lots of things that us as a company can help the gym owners and the gym businesses to take things forward and hopefully benefit them and develop their business more.
Awesome. And I think the biggest thing about all of this is it's taking away some of the stress and worry of things that may not be at the forefront of mind of, do I know what that does and how it can work, and having that reassurance. So absolutely fantastic today.
When the Paxton system goes down, if it ever does go down, nothing's infallible. It's something which is, if something does happen, having that support at the end of a phone, or even somebody ringing you before you've known it's happening, to say,
and that's part of the support service that you provide, isn't it?
Exactly. So that, we would phone up and say, by the way, this went down. I've already remoted on. It's fixed. It's been down for 4 minutes. So if there's anybody come in within those 4 minutes, it's not going to update the information to ClubRight, but just to let you know that that's happened. And it's very, it's not about systems go down. It's not about hiding that. It's about transparency and ensuring that we are responding, and we will respond in a much timelier fashion than the 99.9% of security companies out there that do these sort of installs as well. We're not just a security company; we are a solutions provider.
So that's most probably the ultimate pitch, then, Simon, I reckon. So first, just to summarise, thank you so much for your genius comments and the knowledge that you have from security and installations, and working with you is an absolute pleasure. So it kind of leaves me to say, join us next week for the grand finale of Conversations with ClubRight. Cannot believe this whole season has whizzed by as quick as it has. Hopefully you've enjoyed it as much as I have in putting it together with my guests. And once again, thank you for your input today, Simon. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. We really want to help as many business owners in the fitness industry as we can. So if you know someone who could also benefit from listening to our episodes, remember to share it with them. That's really important. So I want to get that message out there. And if you're enjoying Conversations with ClubRight, hopefully you are, don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.